We're going to talk about energy and focus and how to get started in the morning. I am a slow person in the morning, so this is one I'm really good at. I'm Dr. Natalie Gonzalez. I am a retired surgeon. I do integrative and functional medicine. That's what I retrained to do. Integrative means that I use both alternative and conventional medicine to optimize people's health. And functional means that I look for the root cause, the underlying reason that something is going wrong in their body or not functioning well. So we don't put any Band-Aids on anything. This morning, we're going to talk about energy and focus. And I am a very slow person in the morning. And in general, it's very hard to change what our constitution is. So if we're a morning person or a nighttime person, the research shows that it's very, very difficult to change that. And we might as well at least acknowledge that we're either a morning or a nighttime person. Now, I'm a nighttime person, but I get a lot done in the morning. And the way I manage to do that, I have multiple ways, but the first thing I do in the morning is, lately I do drink a little bit of caffeine, and it's either in the form of tea or coffee. Luckily, I have my husband, he brings me a warm washcloth to use on my up slowly, and then he hands me a cup of tea or coffee. So I have that going for me. I have to admit that's a luxury. But in general, I haven't always used caffeine, and I use it sparingly because I'm very sensitive to it. And caffeine is one of those things that you can overdo so easily and then be on the other side of it where you're just wired and not being able to focus on anything. So it's a fine line for a lot of people. What's enough caffeine to get you going and not too much, because that's when you start to notice your diminishing returns. You're not getting anything done because you can't focus. Maybe you have a headache. Maybe you just, have pressure in your head, or you don't feel well. So the next thing I usually do is, it's similar to what you can do with your sleep routine. When you signal your body that something is going to happen, your brain and your body start to produce the chemicals for that. And we'll talk about the chemicals in just a minute. But so I'm talking about a morning routine, like getting up, making sure I get dressed, put on a certain certain clothing that I'm going to use for certain activities during my day. Maybe I brush my teeth. I might put some makeup on. But one of the big things is I put my shoes on. When I put my shoes on, it signals that I'm going to be doing something. When I make my bed, it means that I'm done sleeping. We're not coming back to lay down and rest in my bed sometime later in the day until evening. So those are things that signal your body that something is going to occur. You're going to go to work, you're going to begin work. I do a lot of my work at home, so I really have to have this signal to my body that now we're going to start working. And this is very similar to what you do for a sleep routine, but it's not just mental. Your body will physiologically start to readjust and make the chemicals in your brain for whatever activity it is that you're aiming for. So having that routine is really important. In general, when it comes to producing the chemicals for focus, the main chemical in your body that you need for focus is norepinephrine. It's called norepinephrine. It tends to be low in people who have ADHD. They have trouble with focus. And so we do a lot of things for our ADHD clients in this way. What we want them to do is all of the things that will make that chemical. And some of them are very simple, very easy, but maybe we overlook them And one of those is just adequate sleep, getting a really good night's sleep. So focusing the night before on your sleep preparation routine and making sure that your sleep is starting at a certain time so that you go through the night and you start to regenerate the norepinephrine in your brain so that when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be there and working for you. So sleep is one of them. Exercise is another. And exercise, what I have found for myself is exercise can overdo it or underdo it for the norepinephrine. So what you need is a burst, but not a long-term workout. So a burst of energy, say you have a stationary bike somewhere close by, or maybe you can take, so the stationary bike, I'm thinking maybe 10 minutes on the stationary bike. Or maybe you can get out and take a brisk walk. 10 minutes would probably do it, enough to stimulate norepinephrine. And anything that stresses your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, stress produces norepinephrine because under conditions of stress, you're really signaling to your body that you need to focus on something. So a certain degree of stress can actually stimulate that also. But I wouldn't, just like with the exercise, I wouldn't overdo it, or the caffeine, I wouldn't overdo it. I think you need a little burst and then to back off and see what that little burst can do for the focus that you need for the next hour or so. And then maybe you need to do that again in an hour, a small burst of either a walk, maybe go out in your office building and do some steps for 5 minutes. That will increase your breathing rate. It'll put a small amount of stress on your body, but it will give your body and your brain the message that you need this chemical, norepinephrine, for focus. There are some foods that do it also. Caffeine is one. And I know I just mentioned that caffeine is very easy to use. We can get some norepinephrine when we do it, and we can overdo it very easily. So, try to look for that sweet spot for you. It's going to be different for you than it might be for somebody else. And it will be different for you at one time in your life than it might have been at other times. So just experiment so that you know what that sweet spot is for your caffeine intake, if at all. Now, during times when I haven't been able to tolerate caffeine, I will use other things. So a cold glass of ice water can do it. Peppermint tea. Oh, let me see what else I put on that. Protein. We all get enough protein. I really think it's unusual for people not to have adequate protein if they really knew what protein needs are. But norepinephrine needs protein to produce it. Nuts and seeds and soybeans, in fact, all kinds of beans. Anything that has protein. I'm whole foods plant-based, so I eat nuts, seeds, and grains, things like that for my protein needs. But any kind of protein will do it. So protein. Those are the things that I think, I know for me, sometimes I get a low in the afternoon. I might do some of these things. Apples. Apples are known to increase, it's almost like an apple can give you as much boost to your mental attention span than a cup of coffee. So think of something simple like that, in a break to help you produce that little bit of burst, not overdo it, and be able to focus and move forward in your day. If any of this has helped you, please share it with a friend. If it has helped you and you don't have a friend or a family member to share it with, then like it so that YouTube will know to share it with somebody else. And we will see you back in the next video. Thank you, everybody.